Hey, what's up everyone? Entering Infinity here. Today I'm back with a new video and I thought I would do something different today and see if I can name all of the original 151 Pokemon. I'm actually an original Gen 1 player. I got the red version for my birthday when I was a little kid, and it's the most nostalgic game for me, and it's the game that I have the most knowledge about just from playing it so many times throughout the years. So I thought it would be fun to try to see if I could beat this quiz. My plan is to kind of go through it, walk through the game in my head, and name all the Pokemon as you kind of explore through the game and do it from that approach. So we'll see if I could do it. I'm pretty confident I can, and without further ado, let's get started with the quiz. Alright, here we go. Alright, so when we first start out, we got our starter Pokemon, so let's go with Bulbasaur first. Then we got Ivysaur, and then Venusaur. Okay, then we got Charmander, Charmeleon, and then of course Charizard. And the last one is Squirtle, Wartortle, and Blastoise. And then once we leave Pallet Town, we go into the grass where you can find Pidgey, evolves into Pidgeotto, and then Pidgeot we got. Then you can also find a Rattata, which evolves into Raticate. And if you're playing the Let's Go version, you could also find Oddish, so we'll do Oddish, Gloom, Vileplume. While we're doing those, let's do Bellsprout, Weepinbell, and Victreebel. Alright, so as we continue up through Pallet Town, then there's another patch of grass right outside of Viridian City where you can find the Nidorans, which evolves into Nidorino if you're a male, Nidorina if you're female, then Nidoqueen, Nidoking, and you can also find a Mankey, which evolves into Primeape. And you can also find a Spearow, which evolves into Fearow. I think that pretty much covers everything there. As we make our way out of Viridian City, then we go into Viridian Forest, where we start encountering the bug Pokemon. So we'll do Caterpie, evolves into Metapod, then Butterfree, then we have Weedle, Kakuna, and Beedrill. Also in there is where you can find Pikachu, which evolves into Raichu. And then you can also find, what else in there? That's pretty much everything in Viridian Forest. Then as you leave Viridian Forest, we get to Brock, who has an Onix. And then he also has a Geodude, which evolves into Graveler. And then into Golem. One of the trainers in that gym has a Sandshrew, which evolves into Sandslash. There's also a trainer that has a Diglett, which evolves into Dugtrio. Okay, so then as we leave Pewter City and we head on the next route is where you can find, I believe, Ekans, which evolves into Arbok, and you can also find Jigglypuff, evolves into Wigglytuff. That's pretty much all the new ones over there. So now let's go into, and right before we get into Mount Moon, there's an NPC that gives you a Magikarp that evolves into Gyarados. Into Mount Moon, that's where you find Zubat, which evolves into Golbat. You can also find Geodude in there, which we got Clefairy, that's a big one in there, which evolves into Clefable. Playing Let's Go, you can find a Chansey, and then you can also find a Paras, which evolves into Parasect. And in there we get our fossils, so let's cover the fossil Pokemon. So that is Kabuto, Kabutops, Almanite, Almastar, and while we're on the topic of fossils, let's do Aerodactyl. Okay, so I think that covers everything in there. Okay, so as we leave Mount Moon, then we are in Cerulean City, where if you go through that route above Cerulean City, If you're playing Let's Go, you can find a Venonat, which evolves into Venomoth. You can also find a Meowth, evolves into Persian. And that's pretty much it for the new Pokemon on that route. There's also actually a Psyduck that evolves into Golduck. So as we make our way back, we get to Misty, who has Staryu, and Starmie, and in the gym you also find a Horsey, which evolves into a Seadra. I think there's also a Shelter trainer in there that evolves into Cloyster. Okay, so then after Cerulean, you find that Team Rocket grunt who gives you Dig, and he has a Drowsy, which evolves into Hypno. And then we work our way down, which is where you can find a Growlithe, which evolves into Arcanine, and the counterpart is Vulpix, which evolves into Ninetales. So as we continue our way down and go through the tunnel, we come out above Vermilion City, where you can find, I think we pretty much covered almost everything in there. In the water you can find a Goldeen, which I also should have picked up in Misty's gym, which evolves into Seeking. And then there's also an Abra, Kazam. So then we get to Lieutenant Surge, which we already covered, Raichu and such. We'll also pick up Magnemite. Which evolves into Magneton. And in there you also find a Voltorb, evolves into Electrode. I think that pretty much covers the electric types that you find there. Then as you go to the other route, on the other side of the SS Anne, that's where you can find a Mr. Mime if you're playing Let's Go. We already picked up Chansey. We already got Drowsy. So there's a Snorlax blocking that road, so we'll get Snorlax. So then after that, we get to our next cave, which is where you can find, if you're playing Let's Go, a Kangaskhan. And everything else I believe you already mentioned. There's a Slowpoke trainers in there, which evolves into Slowbro. Then as we continue through, we get to Erica, which I think we got most of our Pokemon other than Tangela. And then you can also find an Eevee there, which has 3 evolutions, Flareon, Vaporeon, and Jolteon. So then if we go to Saffron City, that's where you can get Hitmonlee, Hitmonchan. You can get a Porygon. Let's go. So after that, you make your way down to, which you already got Snorlax. That's where you find Doduo. That's where you find Dodrio. So also you encounter a lot of different Grimer and Muck. And there's also a Coughing, Wheezing. So we make our way down and we go, and I think we've already covered everything that Koga has. So if you go down towards Tentacruel, and the Seafoam Islands is where you get Articuno, Wheeler Birds while we're there, Zapdos, Moltres. The Game Corner, you can also get a Dratini, Dragonair, Dragonite. Then if you go to the Safari Zone is where you can get an Execute, Exeggutor. We already got Kangaskhan, we got the Nido line, we got the Poison types. So now let's hit the one-off Pokemon that don't evolve. And Jinx, Magmar, Electabuzz, Tauros, Farfetch'd. Lickitung. Also on Seafoam Islands you can get Seal, Dugong. Then we get to Blaine, where you got Magmar, which we already talked about. Other poison types that we already got. Weezing and Muck. We got the fire types that Blaine has. I believe we need to get Machop, Machoke, Machamp. And we'll just take out Mewtwo and Mew. We got Tangela already. There's also Krabby and Kingler. Okay, so we're pretty good way through this. Who else are we missing? Oh, we need the Polys. Poliwag, Poliwhirl, Poliwrath. We also need Rhyhorn and Rhydon. We get the Giovanni. Did we get Slowpoke already? We did. Got the Staryu, Starmie. Goldeen, Seeking. Alright, we got those. So, Lavender Town. Got Ghastly. Haunter. Gengar. Also Cubone. Marowak. Who are we missing? Only a minute left. We're missing about 5. We got Rhyhorn, right? Wow, I can't believe I'm drawing a blank here. Jinx, Electabuzz, Magmar, Tauros, Scyther, Pinsir. We got Snorlax already, right? Diglett and Dugtrio. Oh my gosh, I can't think of who we're missing. Tangela. Lickitung. Oh my gosh, so close. Only missing 3. Oh, Ditto. Ponyta, Rapidash. Oh my gosh, I should have got that. Alright, so I'm a little disappointed in myself. I mean, 148 isn't bad, but I feel like I could have got all of them. God, I just cannot remember Ditto for the life of me. That one I was not close to getting. Ponyta, Rapidash I should have got. Alright, so 148 out of 151. It's not terrible. Hoping I could get all of them, but I didn't. Let me know if you took this quiz as well. How many did you get? Do you think 148 is good, or should I got all of them? But I think this is a good segue, because I never played Fire Red and Leaf Green, so I thought it would be fun to do a Fire Red Nuzlocke playthrough, so that's going to be coming up, and I thought that this would be a pretty good segue into that, so while we're on the topic of Gen 1, so stay tuned for that. I hope you enjoyed. Leave a like and a comment and subscribe if you're new, and I'll catch you all in the next one.